Check, check, 1, 2, 3. Check, check, 1, 2, 3. Making sure I am alive. Huh? I guess I'm not live? Okay, I'm live. Hello, this is Dry Oasis. I'm your host. And once more, this is gonna be Ace Attorney Investigations to Prosecutor's Gambit. So yeah, let's get on with it. So yeah, in the last episode we tried to get a little bit more about to save Tingroa as Gregory Edgeworth and Eddie Fenter. They've been stalwarted by the prosecutor in charge, Manfred from Karma, from ever investigating. They had a lead, but it was with finding out what that one chef was doing. But apparently they had connections or something, so that's out of the window. And Tingroa is being harassed by the prosecution, so it doesn't look good as well. The interesting thing, though, is that the body of Artie Frost or Holy K wasn't found during the trial, so, and that's where it all led up to. The identity of the body. Here we go. April 12th, 2:10 p.m. Zodiac Hall, Fountain Room. That's pretty much how things went down. Those are the facts of IS-7 as far as I'm concerned. I'm finally learning the truth about my father's last case. So what happened at the trial? Well, we lost. Von Karma did a real number on us. Really? You can prove that Mr. Tingroa was innocent? Well, we can prove it all right. Had a decent little pile of evidence in our favor. Problem was, we underestimated Von Karma. He fought even dirtier than we feared. I can't imagine. Secure a conviction at all costs. That was always his guiding principle. Heh, yeah, ain't that the truth? Anywho, the trial dragged on and on. Whole thing took about a year in the end. I'll never forget the day the verdicts came down. December 28th, the following year. It's April now, so... Oh, mama. We're talking over 17 years ago. Time sure does fly, huh? December 28th. I was there that day 17 years ago, sitting in the courtroom gallery. Oh no. Knowing what happens next is really tragic. Just before the trial got started, Gregory noticed that Simpson was looking even worse than usual. Turns out the poor guy had finally reached his limit. It was so bad, even he said he wanted to be found guilty. Wait, you mean they forced a confession out of him? Yeah, Von Karma got what he'd been pushing for from the very beginning. When Gregory tried to drop the bombshell about there being no body to speak of, he learned that Von Karma had used the power of the police to head him off at the pass. Even he had himself a fake autopsy report, but that wasn't the end of it. While Karma had gotten Simpson to falsely testify against himself to being an accessory to murder in court. Combined with this confession, the poor guy's goose was well and truly cooked. But Gregory still had an ace in the hole, though. The same ace he asked Detective Bad to help him with? Exactamundo. He knew he needed one last card to play if they squeezed a confession out of Samson. So we had Bad record all of Samson's interrogations. I guess Detective Bad really wanted to know the truth too, huh? We all did, but he was the trooper. Stayed with the case even after Von Karma took him off it. He was tied up in some other big case too. Good old Bad. They just don't make them like that anymore. Anyway, Gregory presented the recordings as proof that Samson's confession was coerced. And you know what? It almost worked. A cop named Ian Seidman got fired. Samson's interrogator and the initial detective before Bad, he took the fall for pretty much the whole thing. While Von Karma didn't get away scot-free. In fact, he was disciplined by the chief prosecutor for the one and only time in his 40-year career. Still, Samson himself couldn't stomach another day in court. So when that guilty verdict came down, it just didn't signal the end of the day, but of the whole sad affair. I don't remember a lot myself, but my father's face when they declared Mr. Tangaroa guilty. I was a young child at the time, but even I could tell how much he was hurting inside. Gregory wanted to appeal the ruling, of course. He would have done anything to clear Samson's name. But then, well, you know what happened next. Poor guy, never got the chance. The truth. Deal 6. I should have left with him that day. I always blame myself for not doing that. But I shoved that aside and obsessed over something else instead. Or rather, someone else. I hated what you did. Hated you for choosing to stick with Von Karma. I hope you can forgive me. No, you had every right to hate me. I went on to become a prosecutor as planned, and that's when Mr. Von Karma showed me this case file. According to these records, Mr. Tangaroa was convicted as the main culprit in Mr. Frost's murder. Huh? Nope, that's not right. Samson was convicted as an accessory to murder. Strange. The file clearly states that he was the perpetrator. Plus, I'm fairly certain that all of Mr. Von Karma's cases were successfully solved. Mind if I take a peek at those? This file's been doctored. The part about the verdict, it's been changed. What? Here, feast your peepers on this. Convicted as an accomplice. That copies of the file they have on record at the courthouse. Then why is my copy so different? Well, you said it came from Von Karma, yeah? My guess is he didn't want Gregory's son thinking there was a murderer out there still at large. Didn't want you looking into it again before the statute of limitations was up. So everything I believed about the case was a lie? Like they say, we all gotta start somewhere. What's important is that you know what's what now. The statute of limitations may have run out, but the truth's still out there, you know. I inherited Samson's case when your old man passed. Prosecution handed it off to somebody else too. Great Von Karma wasn't going to bother facing off against a rookie like me, was he? Anyway, long story short, the killer was never found, and Samson was found guilty instead. That's terrible! Is there nothing we can do to help him? Nothing without the real perp, I'm afraid. Until then, his confession stands. Speaking of which, I didn't find out until after the verdict had been handed down, but Von Karma had threatened Samson and made him a deal. Told him if he didn't confess, he'd make sure Judy was convicted instead. How could he? Samson knew there was no way Judy could have done it, of course. But he wasn't going to take any chances, so he did what he was told and confessed to keep her safe. Now riddle me this, Milesy boy. Why do you think your Uncle Eddie just happened to be in the prison the day Bronco Knight died? Ah, that's right. You were there to see Mr. Tangaroa. Bingo. Judy and I both promised we'd visit him every day. I didn't quite keep that promise. But Judy did. She never missed one visit in all these years. Come rain or shine, she always showed up. But none of that changes the fact that Samson is still being unduly punished day after day. How heartbreaking. We've got to do something, Mr. Fender. What do I know? Well, kiddo, that's actually why we came here. The ice sculptures are back on display, just like they were all those years ago. And we're gonna see what we can find out. Right, Malzarino? I'm a prosecutor, Fender. I don't look at these things in the same way as you were my father. Miles. But that doesn't matter right now. Speaking out as a prosecutor as Miles Edgeworth. I want to know the truth behind both of these cases. And I'm not leaving until I do. You really are old Gregory's son, through and through. Alrighty then. Now that that's sorted, we can really get to work. Good thing I brought the I-7 case file and evidence today with me, huh? Here, documents first. Who doesn't love paperwork, am I right? Really? You had to do it that way? The parts in red ink are my annotations. Thank you, Fender. And here's some evidence for you. Enjoy. There's quite a few, so I'd like to take a minute to scope them out if I were you. Small minute of evidence from the I-7 incident received from Fender. Yes, I see. I'll take a look at them in a bit. You know, our current case is just full of loose threats too, come to think of it. Indeed. Key players of that incident 8 years ago, who just happened to get caught up in another incident. The ice sculptures in the Winter Wing are the perfect replicas of the one from 18 years ago. The poison gas attack in the Autumn Wing, which has been disguised to look like the Winter Wing. The two chemicals that were found inside the Pisces statue display, normalium and fatalium, that form a poisonous gas when mixed together. The victim of the gas attack, Carmela Gusto, who is no stranger to the events of 18 years ago, and who is still unconscious and undergoing treatment in the medical room. And finally, we come to the body floating face down in the fountain. And the fact that the ice sculptures have melted, just as they did all those years ago. The events at the present day would appear to be intimately linked with events of the past. Which means they may be able to help us learn more about what happened 18 years ago. Sounds good to me. Let's get investigating. Objection! Oh no, you don't. Aren't you forgetting somebody? I could have sworn this is my investigation. Eustace is quite right. I do hope you aren't intending to obstruct him in his duties, Mr. Edgeworth. I would hate to have to add a guilty to my report to the committee. What am I guilty of now? Of course not. I'm simply offering once again to do what I can to help with this investigation. Your offer is duly noted and duly declined. Oof, she isn't pulling any punches. The identity of the body from the fountain is currently being ascertained. It is only a matter of time until we have all the information we need. Perhaps I can help you speed that process along. I think I have an idea of who our mystery victim might be. What? Really? Then you have to tell me. It's the law. Very well. Maybe it isn't just the eye sculptures that have resurfaced after 18 years. The body in the fountain may also be a visitor from the past. I believe the body in the fountain is that of the man who was murdered here 18 years ago. Mr. Artie Frost. What? You're saying that was poor Chillywinks? Wait, who the heck is Chillywinks or whoever it is you're talking about? Artie Frost was a famous sculptor, Eustace. Although he was better known as Polly K. The sculptures on display here are all his works. No way! Sounds like he did well for himself. Always good to encounter a fellow winner. Mr. Frost was also the victim in the IS-7 incident. Judge Cavell knows about the IS-7 incident? Mr. Edgeworth, the IS-7 incident is an 18-year-old case. And according to police records, the victim's body was recovered and an autopsy duly carried out. Sure, that's what the records say, but the records can't always be trusted. What are you insinuating? Well, the records say stuff like, body totally recovered. The defense back then begged to differ. Not that it stopped the prosecution from shutting them down hard, of course. Yeah, this is Winter. Huh? What? Really? What is it, Eustace? The body. We've got an ID. Some sculptor named Foster something? So I guess Edgeworth called it? Goddess of Justice! Huh. So my father's deductions were right all along. Well, Judge Cavell, I'd say this changes things, wouldn't you? Perhaps now you'll admit that I might be of use to this case? More than a certain junior prosecutor, anyway. Well, no fair. You're just trying to steal the win. I'm doing no such thing. All I want is to uncover the truth. And if we're going to get to the bottom of what happened here, we'll need to work together. We do not need to do anything, and you do not need to know the truth. This case is none of your concern. Oh, BS. Objection! Whoa there, Judge Chi. I think you might be wrong about that. Another of your interruptions, Mr. Fender? Huh, yeah. See, I was on the defense team for IS-7, so this case is very much my concern. I was one of the pesky kids pushing the theory that the body had actually gone missing. The prosecutor at the time may have brushed it off, but you can't deny the testimony of your eyes. Or to put it a little more bluntly, the prosecution's case was rotten from the ground up. When there's been a miscarriage of justice caused by the prosecution, it's a committee's job to fix it, no? And who better to help you unpick the mess than someone who was there at the time? Unless you have an ulterior motive? Judge Cafell seems to know the facts of the I-7 incident in some detail. In which case, I suspect she must be here on the committee's behalf. Your connection to the case is noted, Mr. Fender, but I fail to see how it concerns Mr. Edgeworth. Hold it! Hold it! He's the son of the original defense attorney, and the protege of the case's lead prosecutor. And if that's not enough for you, he was at the trial too. I think it's just possible he might have a little something to bring up to the table, don't you? Very well. You may both assist in the investigation, but only if you refrain from interfering with the work of others. The Winter Wing is off limits for now. This room, however, is all yours. Alrighty. Glad to hear we're on the same wavelength, G. Why don't we bring it in to show we're all on the same side of justice? No. Do not test me, Mr. Fender. Your permission to investigate can be revoked at any time. Duly noted, Your Honor. This is a turn up for the books, huh, Milesy? We got to do our thing after all. Thanks to your immeasurable help as always. No sweat. Besides, I was mostly doing it for me. Okay, I'll be investigating my own thing. Just holler if you find something interesting. I will. Okay, shall we? Heck yeah! Let the investigation commence. We're still unclear on two key facts. How Mr. Frost's body came to be where we found it, and the source of the Vitalium. You're right, we need some more intel. Indeed, let's focus on the Normalium Vitalium first and foremost. It's used in stuff like dish soap and paint, right? Correct. It's also bright red in color and has a distinctive minty fragrance. Okay, sounds like we know what we're looking for. So do you call Fountain Room? Hello there, dearie. Still investigating away, are you? Found anything interesting? No, dearie. Well, nothing much anyway. Silly girl, that wasn't a dearie moment. That was more of a lumpkin. Sweetheart is for when you're being sympathetic, of course, and treasure is for when they're in a tiz. Love is for people that you're keen on, and petal you use when you're trying to get someone's attention. Wow, I didn't realize there were so many rules. Mr. Edgeworth, petal, I hope you're getting all this down. Don't even try it, Kay. Oh, dearie me. English words. The body's been taken back to the lab, sir. Autopsy's underway. And how's the rest of the fountain looking? Rather beautiful, actually, sir. The water's crystal clear and kind of soothing. Almost as if there wasn't a body floating in it not so long ago, Why is there a lift cart just sitting here out in the open? Guess somebody must have been moving something heavy. The top of the platform seems to be wet. You know, I've got a funny feeling I've seen this somewhere before. You mean like 18 years ago? Yeah, it's all coming back to me now, like that Celine Dion song. I last saw it in Frost's room. You must have used it to move the ice sculptures around. It's one of those fancy numbers where you can change not only the platform's height, but even its angle. If you had one of these, you could move giant lumps of ice around in no sweat. Interesting. Oh, just think of the possibilities. Oh, the things you can think. Oh, the things you can think. I could really use one of these. Still doesn't explain what it's doing here, though. Bit of a head scratcher, but we should give it a think, yeah? Indeed. After all, it just might have something to do with our case. This bounce tea set is laid out neatly on the serving carts. The pamphlet says the gallery is famous for its tea. Understandably so. The cup we were given was delicious. Looks like all of this stuff was designed by Mr. Frost. Interesting. In that case, I think we'd better take a closer look. So this dishware was made by Artie Frost. Looks very fancy. Oh, it is. I'm willing to bet that this set can fetch something in the thousands of dollars. So let's try not to touch any of it unless we absolutely have to. Whoa, this stuff's really worth that much? Stop it, Kay. I can see your eyes lighting up. This bound must have really a fan of Mr. Frost, like Fender said, to still have this. 50 pounds, price position. Hey, Edgy! What is it? You better be careful with that teapot, you hear? Why is Larry so concerned all of a sudden? Under guest. I can pour you a cup if you like. Miss Bound. Ah, Judy. I'm good, thanks. No tea for me. No soup for me as well. You two knock yourselves out. Thank you for the offer. Yes, why not? A quick break won't hurt. 2 cups coming right up. This smells great. Aw, cute. Wow, is this even better than it smells? What type of tea is this, Mr. Edgeworth? It's Ceylon, I believe. It's usually identifiable by its citrus aroma, but... Miss Bound, is this the same blend you served us this morning? Oh yes, is it alright? There isn't anything wrong with it, is there? Oh no, not at all. It's just that the cup you gave me earlier had a slightly different aroma. Really? That's odd. I used the exact same blend both times. I can't see what could account for the difference. Hey, what's the big idea? Quit being mean about Judy's tea, will you? What's going under your skin, Larry? Nothing. You're just rude, that's all. You don't even try to call me by the right name. It's Larry Stunim, dang it. You know what? I'm done. I'm not talking to you anymore. Well, that was childish even for him. Wow, what happened there? Let's ask him about it later, shall we? Talking to Miss Bound is more of a priority right now. We may not have any evidence to prove that she's a culprit, but it does seem likely that the poison gas was her doing. The tablecloth draped over the card is pure white, and completely spotless. And it's just waiting for me to grab it by the edge, clear my mind, and whoosh! Like a magician. Okay, I cannot stress enough how bad of an idea that would be. Oh, come on! What's the worst that can happen? Even if it does go all sideways, we'll just wind up with a cool teeth-colored tie-dye. And a lot of stuff to pay for. Yes, well, I'd rather it remained white. Plus, I don't think Miss Bound would appreciate us meddling with it. Really? But there's so many other colors that would totally work. Pink, sky blue, tea leaves brown. Where were you before you rejoined us here, Miss Bound? I had to go and tell our visitors were closed. Oh, and hand out a little something in apology. Was there something you wanted to talk to me about? Yes, a few things actually. Not least of all, the fact that I think you might be the one who set up the poison gas trap. The original ice sculptures melted 18 years ago, correct? How did you manage to recreate them? Oh, you know about what happened back then? In that case, you might also know that I took pictures of them during the contest. I commissioned the creation of a set of replicas based on those photographs for this current exhibit. Why go through the trouble of creating replicas? Mr. Frost's Zodiac series was his greatest unfinished masterwork. I just wanted to see it completed at the last. Or rather, recompleted. It was my fault that the original set melted in the first place, after all. I see. And is there any particular reason why the winter and autumn wings look so similar? Oh my, you really think they look alike? Perhaps I used some of the decorations from one and the other by accident? She's clearly lying. But I don't have the evidence to prove it just yet. The hunt is on. The truth will come out. But I don't know what that's about. Pink. I guess we're going to find out. Have I inadvertently stumbled onto the set of Cake Crimes the musical or something? What? What kind of pharmaceuticals recipes are in the Ultimate Cookbook? Oh, there are so many. It would take a while to go through them all. But if you really want to know, well then let's start the show. Come join me as we sing this song. It's a nifty, thrifty 2 hours long. Now one by one we'll sing the themes that the world's best little cookbook brings. What do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? Want to listen to the rest? No, that won't be necessary. Spoil sports. Hey there, Mazzarino. What's the situation with the investigation? Things are progressing. I think a fuller picture of what happened is beginning to emerge. Good to hear. Guess I better step up my game too then. Let's see here. From the color and aroma, I'd say this is a puddle of split tea. Spilt tea. And look, there's a small chunk of ceramic on it. Ceramic fragment. Found in a puddle of tea. The design looks familiar. I guess somebody must have broken something? I know that insignia. And a certain high-strung somebody might just know a little something too. I'm going to keep this simple, Larry. You're hiding something, so just tell me what it is. Whoa, quit it with the glare off, you two. It's weird. It's weird. Oh, come on, Kay. You better know. Oh, come on, Kay. You know me better than that. I wasn't staring. I was just struck by an idea for a picture. Now, Edgy, he was glaring. Yes, and I'll keep glaring at you until you tell us what it is you're hiding. Quit it! I already told you. I'm not talking to you anymore. You're talking to me right now. I mean, from now on, I'm not talking to you ever again, starting now. This can mean nowhere. I suppose I'll have to figure out what he's hiding first before I can get the whole truth out of him. Would you mind taking a look at this for me, Larry? Why would you show me that? Tell me what it is about Miss Bounce tea set that's got you so agitated. No. If you won't tell me, then perhaps you'd prefer to explain it to Judge Gavel? Wait, don't make me look bad in front of Verity. She thinks I'm a sensible, cool, clean-cut guy. I don't want her to see the real me. The real down, low, dirty me. I'm not sure anybody here thinks you're particularly clean-cut, Larry. Wow. Wow. But if you don't want her to think badly of you, the best thing you can do is talk to me. Alright, I'll talk. Alright, Larry, enough is enough. Now confess. Ugh, is there any way to treat your best friend, Larry? Is this any way to treat your best friend, Edgy? Is this any way for you to treat yours? By lying to him? Hiding things? I get the picture already, so just stop glaring at me like that. I'll tell you everything, okay? I wonder if my Eustace Witter and Larry Butts voices are becoming interchangeable at this point. I hope not. It's just so hard for me to talk with two lasers right now. Earlier, I thought Verity might like a cup of tea, so I went to pour one for her. But I got distracted, my hand slipped and smash! I broke the teapot, priceless work of art. It's in pieces because of me. No words exist to describe how far away I saw this coming from. Ouch, you really messed up this time, Larice. See, Edgy? Everyone's gonna think less of me now. Judy's never going to forgive me for this. Crying to me won't do you any good. I think you need to apologize to Miss Bound. My teapots? I see. I'm sorry. So sorry, Judy. I'm so sorry. I don't have any money, but I'll paint you a portrait. I'll paint you 50 portraits. Please, Mr. Junim, it's really me who should be apologizing. How could I have failed to notice that there were broken pieces of ceramics on the floor? Somebody could have been hurt. Here, let me make sure they're safely disposed of. The teapot in question was designed by Artie Frost, correct? I understand that it was something Yvonne treasured. You must be upset. Oh, I am. But of course, all things break eventually. And as luck would have it, I have another identical teapot. It's far from the end of the world. Is she less attached to Mr. Frost's work than she used to be? I can't believe this, Judy. You're the sweetest, the kindest. This other teapot you're talking about, it's the one sitting on top of the cart right now, yeah, right? What do you mean? Yeah, so when I smashed the first one, I tried to hide the pieces on the bottom of the cart. And that's when I saw that other pot under there, so I took it out and basically switched the two pots. Oh, I see. Yep, that's everything I have to tell you. I'll be extra careful not to break the other one, I promise. You have no shame whatsoever, do you? I'm sorry. It's really quite alright. Thank you for being so honest. See, Edgy? Isn't Judy just the absolute best? I trust you won't take advantage of her kindness and will make amends somehow. I sure will. Once I make it as an artist, I'm going to give her one of my paintings. She was one of my models, after all. It's only fair. At this rate, I suspect he's likely to make more trouble than amends. Don't you think it would be better for you to keep out of her way for a very long while? Oh, but I will be keeping out of her way, because I sketched her and the others already. Her and the others. Keen to see my work, huh? Yeah, I drew a few great sketches of some ravishing beauties. Want to see? Interested in Louise's ravishing beauties, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm afraid you've greatly misjudged Kay. I solely wish to see if Larry has captured any unusual details this time, too. Unusual details? Nothing's unusual about these. They're my best work yet. Really? Now I want to see them, too. Ah, you're a sweetheart, Kay. Alright, let me dig them out for you. Give me a sec, okay? I suppose we might as well take a look. So, these sketches of yours. Seriously, Edgy, if we wanted to check out my art, you should have just said so from the get-go. Said so from the get-go. Here, feast your eyes on this. What am I looking at here? I told you already, ravishing beauties. Just a few of the fair faces that have caught my eye since I've been here, you know. Aw, that's nice to include Celicia as well. There's Verity and Judy and somebody else. Why did you draw them all on the same page? Well, I meant to draw the room at first, just something to pass the time. But then I saw one beauty after another and, well, I just scribbled them all down as I went. So these were all drawn at different times? Huh? Oh yeah, I guess. I did one of you too, Kay. You're on a different page, though. Wow, you did? Hehe, I'm flattered. How true to life are these sketches? Did you only draw what you exactly saw? Of course, you think I draw things I can't see? Like using my imagination? Nope, these are 100 true to life right down to the exact shade of each color. So the colors are accurate. Interesting. Much as it pains me to admit it, Larry may have provided me with a useful piece of evidence yet again. The serving card in the sketch, for example, if I compare it to the other one here in the room, there's a clear contradiction between the two. I think a little deduction is in order. Could I borrow this page for a while, Larry? Sure thing. You want to sign it for you? Want me to sign it for you? Just a page, please. Larry's sketches data jotted down in my organizer. Ba-da-da-da. Larry, could I ask you something about your sketches? Huh? I'm fascinated by the work of the great Larry Stone, but is the composition right? Not exactly. The light blue tablecloth, you painted that as exactly as you saw it, correct? I already told you, everything is exactly as I saw it. But the tablecloth on the card here in this room is white. Wow. Your head's so full of crazy theories, the simple stuff just passes you right by, huh? Ah, what's that for? Listen, just before I drew that sketch, I was in the middle of some business with the cart with a tea set on it, okay? What kind of business? That's right, it was the hiding the pieces of the teapot I smashed kind. That's nothing to boast about. Anyway, I was still in the middle of cleaning it up when Judy came out of the West Wing. I didn't want to get busted for breaking the pots, so I quickly dove out of sight. Wait, Miss Bounce came out of the Winter Wing? Yeah, but she was pushing a cart. Different one. That's the one with the light blue tablecloth on it that I drew. What did she do with the second serving cart? Well, I saw her wheel it into the summer wing, but I don't know what happened to it after that. When she came back out, she was pushing one of those other carts, the one you can lift stuff with. A lift cart? Yeah, so I called out to her, but she just ran off and left it behind. Never had her down as a shy type, but it just goes out to show you never know. Another serving cart, and a lift cart. Is there maybe another tea set too? Wait, we better check with Miss Bound. Are there 2 serving carts here at the gallery, Miss Bound? Oh, yes. Why do you ask? A certain so-called artist showed me the sketch. I couldn't help but notice the color of the tablecloth. It's light blue. Light blue? I'm afraid your friend might be mistaken. I only use white tablecloths, freshly laundered and starched. Like the perfect wrinkle-free one on the cart here in the fountain room, right? Exactly. If I saw so much of a blemish, I would replace it right away. Could the color of the tablecloth in this sketch simply be a mistake on Larry's part? Do you have any idea of what you might have been doing when the sketch was drawn? Let me see. I appear to be carrying out my usual duties. I'd like to ask you a little bit more about these duties, if I may. What exactly were you doing when the sketch was drawn? Because from what I can see, your cart doesn't seem to have a tea set on it. I was delivering some chocolates to the investigating officers. Aw, now I'm jealous. I love chocolate. Well, there were a few left over, so here, for you both. I made them myself. I hope you like them. Woohoo! Hehe, thanks, Miss Bound. Well, why not? They're a little melted, but I suppose that's because they've been sitting around in her pockets. They're super sweet. I love them. I'm very glad to hear it. They might not be the prettiest, but I'm grateful for the energy boost nonetheless. Though perhaps they could do with a little less sugar. Mr. Runner was very clear that you're only allowed to investigate this room. So I'm afraid I can't let you pass. Sorry, sir. It wouldn't make so much of a difference if you did, officer. You're standing in front of a wall. Oh, but we all know a few perks won't stop you, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, sir. You're like the Incredible Hulk. Wow, he actually sounds like kind of scared of you. Just what kind of reputation do I have down at the precinct? I forgot how to do that. Oops, wrong one. I suspect the difference in aroma we noticed is due to the teapots having been switched. You do? I can't see what else it could have been. The tea set itself hadn't changed. the tea itself hasn't changed. Why don't we ask Miss Bound just to be sure? Miss Bound, the difference in aroma we noticed. Do you think it could have been because of the different teapots? I suppose so. My cup just now had a subtle minty scent, rather like uva tea. Oh, I just remembered. I made some peppermint tea in that pot only yesterday. That must be where the minty aroma is coming from. Could that really be it? The tea from the teapot Larry switched in from under the cart smelled faintly of mint. Right, Miss Bound said she used that pot to make peppermint tea yesterday. Yes, but there's something else that's been troubling me. Miss Bound seems more taken aback by the switching of the pots than the breaking of one. You're right. You expect it to be the other way around. I suspect she might have been deliberately hiding the teapot underneath the cart. But why? One of Fatalium's key characteristics is its minty fragrance. So what if she had been hiding some in that teapot? What? In the teapot? It's simply a possibility, but one worth investigating, I believe. Mr. Wetter, any luck finding that's Fatalium? Huh? Oh. My people are searching the entire gallery, but they haven't found anything yet. What about you? Don't tell me you know where it is. You know where it came from. I may have an idea. Huh, I knew it. If I can't find it, there's no such... What? You do know where it came from? Yes. Where? Miss Bound's teapots. Wow, nice piece. I like it. Yeah, this looks like a fitting prize for a National Board winner. It's not a prize. It's a vital piece of evidence. Oh, it's just evidence? Then I'll have one of the forensics people check it out. Mr. Edgeworth, is there some sort of problem with my teapots? Possibly. The minty fragrance we noticed coming from it. I think it just might be the scent of one of the chemicals used to make the poison gas. But, Mr. Edgeworth, surely you don't think I had anything to do with that? I'm afraid I do. The method used to create the gas would have required a considerable preparation. Nobody would have had the time or the opportunity to set that up except you. That's not strictly true. It took around a week to get Zodiac Call ready for the exhibition. There were all kinds of people coming and going here through that time, Delicia for one. So you see, I'm not the only person who could have set it all up. The scone is on our radar too, of course. You needn't worry about that. And besides, I want to know the first thing about making poison gas. So even if you didn't find some Fatalium in my teapot, I wouldn't have any idea what to do with it. But I suppose we should see what the test results may say first. Miss Brown claims she doesn't know the first thing about making poison gas. We need to find a way to prove that she's lying. What are you hiding? Hiding. Let's see here. It seems the elevator is... Let's see here. What else am I missing? Am I again? It seems the police have already removed the body. But why did the body of a victim from 18 years ago turn up in this fountain? And why wasn't it all rotten and stuff? Did it slowly shuffle its way here? And I remind you that zombies aren't real. It seems likely that the body was preserved somehow. Really? Is that even possible? Hey, Mr. Forensic Guy, anything to report? Yes, ma'am. Traces of both Fatalium and Normalium have been detected in the fountain. I'm gonna say they were probably carried here by the stream from the Autumn Wing. In addition to those two chemicals, there's also a large amount of sugar. The composition of the sugar is being analyzed as we speak. There's sugar in the fountain? Where would it even have come from? Edward speaking. Sir, it's me. Is everything alright, Detective? Everybody's left the Winter Wing. It's just me in here now. Which means I can tell you what we found out. You really shouldn't be sharing information about the investigation. But after the past week or so, I'm not about to stop him now. The exhibits in here have all been completely melted. All that's left in the display cases is some stuff at the bottom. More of it in the Taurus case than in the Gemini case, though. Describe this stuff for me, if you can. Yes, sir. It's like a pale blue liquid. I had the lab run some tests just now. The sample from the Taurus case had just a bunch of sugar in it. But the one from the Gemini case had all 3 different kinds of substances in it. Which were sugar, salt, and blood. Blood? What are salt and blood doing in the Gemini case's sample? Can't imagine how whose blood it could possibly be, but... I'll get it tested right away, sir. Please do, Detective. Oh, I also spoke over the radio with the forensics guy working in the fountain room. He said he just got word that the sugar they found in the fountain matches the sugar in the pale blue liquid. I see. That might well prove to be a significant development. Gemini case analysis results data jotted down in my organizer. Anything else to report, Detective? Yes, sir. We found one of those light-emitting devices here in the Winter Wing 2. Interesting. There were a few of those being used in the Autumn Wing to disguise as the Winter Wing, as I recall. It seems that the equipment from 18 years ago is more than just for show. Need to talk to Miss Scone about this. Anyhow, I better be getting back to it. I'll let you know as soon as we hear from the lab about that blood. Yes, thank you, Detective. What's that, Gummy? Seems like he had a lot to say. He did, and all of it was very useful. If I'm going to prove that Miss Bound's claims about who could have set up the poison gas trap are false, I'll need to talk to a certain somebody else who was here 18 years ago. Miss Scone, I'd like to ask you a few questions if I may. Of course, City. Fire it away. Anything for you, Leslie Smiley, and dear sweet little Tooth Decay. I'd appreciate it if that was the last time you called me Milesy Smilesy. I'm not a fan of Tooth Decay either. Well, you just have to, like, lump it. I can't change a nickname once I've settled on it. Well, I guess we tried. Oh, look at that! A picture of silly old me! That's right. You seem to have caught the artist's eye. You mean so lovely Laurie Lambkin? I'll have to have a word with him and say thanks. Well, I'll be glad to introduce you. And there's the evil smirk. Who knew you could make a lamp out of rock salt? Of course you can, dear. You wouldn't want it to get it wet, but it's fireproof and ever so sturdy. Sturdy enough to make for a surprisingly good murder weapon, in fact. Yeah. We know the bulb in this lamp probably broke because it was used in the murder. But then, what happened to the other one? Have you read the Ultimate Cookbook, Miss Scone? Of course I have. I'm a pharmacist, you know, even if I do wear a big pink hat. I think it's so cool you're a pharmacist. Well, I do, dearie. So do I. Aren't you, sweetheart, my Tooth Decay? Little Tooth Decay? Just when were you interested in pharmaceuticals? Shh, I'm working on my magic, Mr. Edgeworth. Buttering her up so she'll do what I want. Anyway, Miss Scone, Delicia, I was wondering if you could maybe... No, how many times, you cheeky little imp? Once your name's decided, can't change it. Dane, so much for the sneaky approach. What kind of great thief am I? Not a very good one. It's true, Diddy. I do know how to make poison gas. But the fact that someone knows how to hold the gun doesn't mean they've shot at anybody now, does it? I'm not accusing you, Miss Scone. She's right, you know. Just because I'm a great thief, that doesn't mean I can't do good. Exactly, dear. Just because I'm a confectioner, that doesn't mean I can cook. Surely that only applies to fake confectioners. That stuff doesn't come cheap, you know, or easy. It's pretty amazing, though. It looks so cool when it's all lit up. I wonder how it's made. Oh, well, if you really want to know, I'll let you in on a little secret. Ah, so it was developed by Blue Screen Zinc. I know where the great thief is striking next. Huh. Blue Screen Zinc. Haven't heard them in a while. With their tech, I could make a glowing cloak and shine brighter than the brightest thief of all. So much for what I wanted to ask. What can you tell us about the various devices used to decorate the gallery's exhibits? There seems to be pretty special. There seems to be. They seem to be some pretty specialized. There seems to be some pretty specialized items in use. Light emitting devices, luminous fabrics. Oh, I can tell you all about those, dearie. After all, I'm the one who gave them to Moody Judy. It was my way of saying sorry after I broke the rules all those years ago. I bought her four lovely new salt lamps, and I gave her the 4 pieces of luminous cloth I used for the contest. Wow, that's super generous of you. Well, us girls have to do our best, don't we? Not everybody understands, of course. That better not be a dig at me, Delish. I told you how kind I thought that was. Yes, back when you were a little dear, sweet, innocent baby boy. What happened to you, eh? Dear, sweet, innocent baby boy, Mr. Fender. Can't quite picture that, I have to say. So these decorations, they're all the same as the ones you saw 18 years ago, correct? Yep, salt lamps, glowing fabric, light-emitting doodads, the whole bit. There were 4 luminous cloths in use at in the autumn wing, but I'm sure I saw another one somewhere. Maybe I should jog her memory with something so Miss Scone will tell us more. Miss Scone, you're something of a specialist. How might someone learn how to make poison gas that was used in the attack? Any ideas? Well, any pharmacist who's ever handled infesticide Ultra would know for a start. After all, it says right there on the label, do not mix with products containing fatalium ever. Well, what about a layperson? It's unlikely they'd know, wouldn't you say? I suppose so, yes. Well, not unless they had a nose through the Ultimate Cookbook anyway. The prize from the contest 18 years ago. The recipe for making Infesticide Ultra, along with that, not mixing with big Fatalium bit, is in there, you know. So you're familiar with the contents of the book? Oh yes, dear. I know it inside and out. Because I work for the Tangaroa group, you see. With this company behind Killer X. I'm sure you'd heard of it. Cold Killer X. Fight Spec sniffles and sneezes with ease, apparently. After Sammy Poodle was found guilty, the company took custody of the book. But they only grant their most trusted people access to it, of course. Which means Miss Scone is one of those elites, I suppose. You had a piece of fabric like this in your bag, did you not, Miss Scone? I'll bet a somewhat grimier one. Grimy? How rude! You won't get people to cooperate with your little investigation like that, young man. Shall I call it a dish towel then? Perhaps you use it to wipe up some sort of spillage? A spillage, he says. The cheek. That's a piece of highly specialized luminous cloth. Oh, I probably shouldn't have told you that. I think I'd like to know a little more about this highly specialized luminous cloth, if you don't mind. Why didn't you want me to know you had a piece of luminous cloth in your bag? Oh, well, I suppose there's no point hiding it now, is there? If you must know, I fished it out of the fountain. It was right before they called me into the automobile. So Larry's sketch of this gun is of when she was trying to retrieve the clock. At first, I thought it was one of the ones I'd given to Moody Judy. One of the 4 you'd given to the gallery, correct? Exactly, but all four were being used in the item wing, weren't they? So I realized, it must be the one that went missing all those years ago. I'd already had my pesticide pinched and used to make poison gas. If one of my costs turned out to have been used in some sort of dastardly deed too, well, I was going to look guilty as sin, wasn't I? So I kept it hidden in my bag and hoped for the best. I see. Oh, it does feel good to get it off my chest, though. Stress is no good for the complexion. So the cough that disappeared 18 years ago, the one the victim was wrapped in, just happens to reappear in the fountain at the same time as the body. What is with all these typos? Luminous cough data updated in my organizer. I guess I'll talk to him. Tell me, Fender, what kind of person is Mistbound? Huh? Wait a minute. Don't tell me you've got a thing for her, Milester. I do not. Chill, chill. I'm just thinking your chain. Anyway, what can I say about Judes? Well, she's a real brave trooper for one. What else do you call someone who waits around for 18 whole years she has, like, for Samson? Even after his extended family kicked her out of this place. What? They threw her out? Yep, Juice wasn't technically a part of the family, so there was nothing she could do. She had nothing, nobody, and no job after Samson took the fall. She had no choice but to take what he'd taught her and to make her own way in showbiz. She's retired from all that now, though. Yes, why did she retire? She'd finally make enough to buy the old place back. She even got the ultimate cookbook back from the Tinkerer group after they basically stole it. Guess this place and everything to do with it was all she ever cared about. So she just wanted it back, all of it. Fender seems very sympathetic to Miss Bound's plight. But from a less charitable perspective, she has, in a way, taken everything of Mr. Tankerose for herself. Interesting. The Ultimate Cookbook contained instructions on how to create the poison gas. And the current owner of that book is none other than Miss Judy Bound. No way! You mean... I'm afraid I do. Miss Bound would have been perfectly capable of setting up the gas trap. Finally, we can prove that she's been lying to us. I love this bass line. This case seems to have a lot of in common with the incident from 18 years ago. And how? It's got a lot. Melting statues in the winter wing, and even the murder victim's body. But how did nobody ever figure out that the body had gone missing? Frost had no family apart from his son. And well, the kid kind of vanished. Nobody's seen him since around the time of the incident. Gusu's son too. Him and his best pal from school both just up and disappeared. What? And they were never found? Gusu's boy wasn't. Not as far as I heard anyhow. Guess Frost Kid turned up in the end, though. He collected his inheritance at some point. But yeah, no family around just after the incident. Frost got no funeral, no nothing. So no need for the police to release the body. And no need for anybody to find out they didn't have it. They filed their fake autopsy report, and nobody was any the wiser. Well, almost nobody. I still can't believe Mr. Von Karma would stoop so low. Oh, it's complete finally. All I just had to do was talk to Fender about that. And that's that. All that's left now is to await the results of the test on the teapot. To be continued. Judy pounds testimony. I see a little testimony of her. Of this girl. Get a moosh, will I do the fandango? And I'll be right back. Just gonna take a little time of water. Water? Yeah, back to square one. Back to this game. April 2nd, 2:33 p.m. Zodiac Hall. Fountain Room. The test results have just come in, sir. Traces of fatalium were found in the teapots. They were. Just like Mr. Edger said. Curse you. You better not think that this means you beat me. You really need to drop this obsession with coming in first, Mr. Winner. We're all on the same side here, remember? We're all trying to get to the truth. No, it's always about winning. For me. What? But first is best. Everybody knows it's better to be a winner than a loser. That's really no way for a prosecutor to think. Not a successful one, anyway. Dear gosh, if he was Fred Von Karma. In kid form. What? But I... Enough. Mr. Edgers, please refrain from taunting the boy. Ignore him, Eustace. He isn't worthy of your attention. But Gavel! Oh, alright. Why don't I take care of things here for now? In the meantime, you can perform the far more important task of going and checking on the victim. Oh, yeah, good idea. I'll be right back. Excellent. We shall see you shortly, then. Mr. Winter's annoying, but totally harmless. Judge Gavel, on the other hand. Now. Miss Bound, perhaps you could explain why traces of fatalium were found in your teapots? I had no idea there was anything like that in there. Perhaps it's one of the ingredients in the dishwashing soap I use. So you're telling the court that you did not intentionally put ubiquium in that teapot? Yes, exactly. Why would I? Until today, I had no idea that it could be even used to make poison gas. Objection! You're a trained actress, are you not, Miss Bound? I thought you would have a more... I thought you would be a more convincing liar. What do you mean? You have access to the Ultimate Cookbook, correct? A book that just happens to contain instructions on how to create the poison gas used in the attack. Meaning it's perfectly possible for you to know how to make it. For you to know how exactly how to make it. To know how to exactly make it. You're very well informed, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Bound, is what Mr. Edgeworth said true? The book does contain information on how to make the poison gas, yes. But the fact that I have seen it doesn't make me guilty. Can I ask exactly how the gas was triggered? The victim used a blowtorch to heat the lid of one of the display cases, thereby melting the fatalium. I see. But he locked himself in the room too, didn't he? Surely that and the fact he triggered it himself. Wouldn't it be possible... Wouldn't it point to it being a suicide attempt? So she's not willing to admit to anything. Furthermore, where would I have gotten a hold of the Infesticide Ultra? Oh, I don't know. Perhaps you stole it? You know, I did bump into Moodykins a week or so ago. And that very evening, I noticed my Infesticide Ultra had gone missing. Judy, surely you didn't. Celicia, you carry your bag of pharmaceuticals with you everywhere, don't you? There would have been a number of opportunities for someone other than myself to steal it from you. That's true. And I don't have any hard evidence that it definitely was Miss Bound who stole it. Judes, There's clearly something you're not telling us. Why don't you just come clean, We all know you never hurt somebody for no reason, so... Not you, too. You think I'm guilty as well, Mr. Fender? Can you blame me? We've got one wing disguised as another. A gas drop in one of the display cases. And you're the proprietor of the establishment. It's looking a lot like you did it, kiddo. You've got this all wrong. You have to remember, the gallery doesn't have any security cameras, nor any security personnel. If some ill-intentioned person or other wanted to get in undetected, I don't think they'd have very much of a problem. Wow, you're practically asking to be burglarized. You need to be more careful. Grey Thief could have a field day in here. And I don't think she's joking. And actually, it seems that Mr. Gusto did in fact enter the gallery before it opened. Sheesh. Judy's one tough cookie. She's not budging an inch. Maybe it's time to wreck a little technique Gregory taught me back in the day. And what technique might that be? So hear me out. Everything's connected to what happened 18 years back, yeah? And since we're not getting anywhere by focusing only on the here and now, maybe we ought to approach this from a different angle and look to the past for clues instead. A turnabout in thinking. So my father used this method as well. Right, let's run this through the old Thinkatron. How was Jude involved in what happened back then? According to Miss Bound, it was because of her that Mr. Frost's flavored ice sculptures melted. And yet his sculptures are here on display at the very gallery today. Is it possible that she... Thank you, Mr. Fender. I think I know what I need to ask Miss Bounds now. Don't thank me, thank your pops. Now take it away, Milesy. I'll grab the popcorn. Miss Bound. You say that you were the one who caused Miss Frost's creation to melt 18 years ago, correct? I'm afraid so. I was young and foolish, and it was a terrible accident. And then, what you did allowed you to open this exhibit, no? What do you mean? Yes, what do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? If you are going to ask such questions, perhaps the formal testimony from Miss Bound might be best? Yes, perhaps it might. I'd like to know a little more about Zodiac Hall. About why Miss Bound decided to dedicate the space to Mr. Frost's works. Very well. If you believe it to be relevant to the case, I will allow it. Miss Bound, would you mind? Not at all. I'll do whatever it takes to prove that I am innocent. Then please, if you could give us some background on Zodiac Hall and the pieces on display here. Zodiac Hall. Took 18 years, but at long last I was finally able to buy Samson's home back a little while ago. But a place like this is expensive to maintain, so I decided to turn it into an art gallery. To that end, I collected as many polycade pieces as I could from around the world. Because, if I'm honest, it's always been something of a dream of mine to open a space dedicated to his work. Thank you for your testimony, Miss Bound. How wonderful that it is that you were able to fulfill your dream. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, anything seems entirely above board to me. Judge Cavell, that was simply the witness's preliminary statement. As you surely know, the value of that testimony cannot be evaluated without due cross-examination. Haha. Spoken like a true attorney. Very well. You may do what you must. And it's been nearly a year. Polly K. That was Mr. Frost's pseudonym, correct? Yes, he adopted it while he was working as a sculptor in France. I see. I'm curious about some of the pieces in your collection. More specifically, how were you able to acquire the Taurus and Gemini? How you were able to acquire the Taurus and Gemini sculptures? It was my understanding that Mr. Frost died before he could complete them. Yes, I was able to create replicas for the Winterween based on photos of the sculptures he made. Really? Perhaps you could go into some more detail on that. These photos you mentioned, you mean the ones you yourself took in Mr. Frost's room 18 years ago? Yes, you certainly know a lot about what happened back then, Mr. Edgeworth. So the statues in Winterween were just copies? And I didn't even get to see them before they melted. No, the sculptures in question were definitely not replicas. Which means that Miss Brown is lying. I know, it's such an awful shame. And after we went to the trouble to recreate them too. Objection! I'm afraid you've run out of road, Miss Bound. You can lie all you like, but you can't deny the results of the test conducted on the sculpture's remains. And those tests leave no room for ambiguity. What you had on display weren't replicas. They were the very statues Mr. Frost carved 18 years ago. Oh, I could probably help explain how they worked it out if you like, dear. With the sugar, you see, you might think sugar is sugar, but the composition is actually very unique. You could probably recreate the statues, but the sweet secret of their chemical makeup? No chance. Thank you, Miss Scone. I don't recall asking for her help, but still. Wait, what was that? She said? You think sugar is sugar? What in the world is that? To put it simply, the statues didn't disappear back then because they melted. They disappeared because you spirited them away and kept them hidden for these 18 long years. Ah, what? She kept a pair of flavored ice sculptures around somewhere for all that time? Heh, it's not the most out there idea in the world, assuming you had a big enough ice box. Overruled. Quite all of you. Miss Brown, have you anything to say in your defense? So you've already learned of that much. Should I take that to mean you admit to having hidden the flavored ice sculptures in question? No, I admit to no such thing. You haven't proven that I was the one who took those statues away. And you won't, because it would have been impossible for me to do so in the first place. The police were already here when they disappeared. How could I have possibly done it without them noticing? Oh, indeed. I don't yet know how exactly you did it. But I'm far from ready to say that it was impossible for you to have stolen them away. You're a very persistent man, aren't you, Mr. Edgeworth? I am indeed, and I won't stop until I get to the truth. I see. Then I'd better tell you exactly what I did that day, 18 years ago. What I did that day. The whole time before judging began, I was waiting upstairs in our living room on standby. During the judging, I had to go change the camera's film cartridge for Samson. But before I could take the camera back to Samson, I discovered Mr. Frost's body. Later, around when your father arrived, I began making the rounds and served tea to everybody present. That was when I saw Mr. Gusto entering Mr. Frost's room. Those were my movements on the day it all happened. I hardly see how you could take issue with any of that. That's for us to decide, Miss Bound. Are you saying there's a contradiction in her story, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm more focused on proving the fact that she did indeed steal their statues. The question is, when she would have had the opportunity to do so. If I can pinpoint that, I might be able to prove what exactly she got up to. Just as you did today. Yes, I went around and offered everybody working on the investigation a cup of tea. Present company included. I remember it well. You were here, there, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere with that little cart of yours. Interesting. And did anything strike you as strange around that time? Oh yeah, Gregory was singing the praises of Judy's tea and... I think he mentioned his saucer was cold. Saucer was cold? This was the moment. Miss Bound, I believe this was when you sold the sculptures. I hate to contradict you, but the fountain room was full of witnesses at that point, Mr. Fender included. Are you suggesting that I somehow got the sculptures out of Mr. Frost's room right under everybody's noses? That is precisely what I'm suggesting. Miss Bound's shoulders have sculptures. By hiding them here? My father and Fender had no idea that one of the sculptures was mere inches away from them. Because it wasn't just a tea set you were pushing around, Miss Bound, but a hidden ice sculpture in a glass case. Ah! Surely such a thing would have been impossible. How would a case of that size fit on a serving cart? It would have been spotted immediately. Objection! Who said anything about a serving cart? Huh, what? I'm not sure if I follow, Mr. Edgeworth. What are you suggesting she use instead? We all know these. And this is... the cart that Miss Bound used to move the flavored ice sculptures out of Mr. Fuzz's room 18 years ago. And it would appear that the very same cart is here with us in this fountain room. We originally bought it for use in the contest. And you're saying that Miss Bound loaded Mr. Frost's sculptures onto this cart and carried them off? I am. As you can imagine, all one would need to do is lay a case on its side and it's a tablecloth. And it looked exactly like a normal serving cart, thus allowing her to move the sculptures around freely. Can it be? Holy moly, of course! That's why those sausages were so chilly. They were sitting on top of a big log of ice. Jews! How could you? Impressive. Then again, you are Mr. Gregory Edgeworth's son. Mr. Gregory Edgeworth's son. I should have expected no less. There isn't a scrap of evidence that I stole the sculptures all those years ago now. And yet, I knew that no matter what I said or did, I'd always be under a cloud of suspicion. So you admit it? You admit that you stole them from Mr. Frost's room? Yes, I do. I took the sculptures and their glass cases out of that room 18 years ago. As Mr. Edgeworth correctly deduced, I dressed up the lift cart as a serving cart to do it. I slipped in and out of Mr. Frost's room while I was going around serving tea to everybody. In the end, I'd removed not only the sculptures, but the flavored ice zodiac blocks as well. Zodiac blocks? I feel like I've seen them for myself before. There's a huge... If the Winter Rain really is an exact replica of Mr. Frost's room from 18 years ago, then even though my father never saw them because they'd already melted, quote-unquote, the Zodiac blocks must have been in the victim's room back then as well. When I had finished moving the 2 ice sculptures and the 2 Zodiac blocks out, I took 2 first empty cases to Mr. Frost's room and put them where the original 2 had been. Only the sculptures had been kept in glass cases, you see, to prevent them from being damaged. The blocks were a little more robust, so they had been displayed as is. As stated in the contest rules, we were responsible for providing all display materials, including cases. Meaning it would have been easy for her to prepare those empty spares she swapped in. Mr. Frost's room contained quite a few other flavored ice works in progress. I figured if I melted them down somehow, the resulting puddle would look like it came from the sculptures. And that is how the sculptures from 18 years ago came to be in the Winter Rain today. I have to say, Mr. Edgeworth, that's quite the confession. Indeed, and I think she offered it so willingly because she knows there's nothing we can do with it. That's all I have to tell you. However, despite everything I've shared, you can't charge me with anything now, can you? What? How do you figure that? Oh my. I would have thought you might have known at least this much, given we're at a crime scene. I suggest you memorize the very statutes of limitations outlined in this book. Statutes of what? Oh, statute of limitations. Statutes for dummies. Simply parquet. Prosecutors only have a certain amount of time within which they can put a suspect on trial for a given crime. Let's take a closer look, shall we? Theft, 7 years from the date of the crime. So it's different for every crime? Murder, 15 years. Theft, 7 years. Ah! Yes, this bound sold the ice sculptures 18 years ago. So it's too late to have her arrested for that crime. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Theft is a serious matter, especially when it involves the removal of evidence from a crime scene. However, as you yourself pointed out, this bound can no longer be prosecuted for crime. Rendering your revelation rather pointless, wouldn't you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Objection! No, I wouldn't be so sure about that. For you see, the theft of the ice sculptures isn't my principal interest here. I find the body that reappeared 18 years after the theft to be of considerably more interest. Are you suggesting that I also hid Mr. Frost's body? I am indeed. But how do you keep a body hidden for 18 years without anybody finding it? By hiding it in a very unusual way. Huh? Now this is interesting. Are you telling me that you know where the body has been all this time, Mr. Edgeworth? It is not such a big leap if you think about what Miss Bounds has told us already. Let's just say it wasn't just flavored ice she removed from Mr. Frost's room back then. Very well. If you are confident in this claim, let us put it to the test. Put up your dicks. Let's put it to it. Tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, where exactly was Mr. Frost's body hidden? Are we really suggesting a photograph of Mr. Frost's works? And of the victim's body, Your Honor. You will have to forgive me, but I don't see what you mean. Where exactly in this photograph is Mr. Frost's body? Finn's body is hiding right here. The Gemini sculpture? Yes, it may look like a sculpture at first glance, but it is in fact Mr. Frost's corpse. What? Surely you can't be serious. I don't see anything in the photograph to support such a wild claim. Objection! That's because a certain piece of evidence was used to hide the body in plain sight. And what piece of evidence might that be? One of the cloths from in the autumn wing. Yes, when it's made to glow in just the right way, it's so visually convincing you might mistake it for ice. Isn't that right, Miss Scone? Well, yes, dear, but you can't make it look like just about anything really, even blazing fire. But you can make it look like just anything about really, even blazing fire. And the right shade of blue would make it look like ice, yes! Exactly like it, in fact. Overruled. Is it not the case that a certain special device is needed to generate these colors, though? Objection! If you would like to take another look at the photograph of the Winter Rain, Your Honor, you'll notice there is a small box connected to the bottom of the Gemini display case. That's one of the very light-emitting devices in question. Detective Gumshoe even confirmed its presence. In fact, this particular device went missing 18 years ago. Back then, it was no doubt firmly connected to the cloth inside the display case. Which means Miss Bone had no choice but to take it with her when she removed the sculpture. So you see, this cloth and the light-emitting device were being used to create the illusion that Mr. Frost's body was, in fact, a statue carved from ice. No. No, this cannot be. Wait, so you're telling me that when we took that photo of us in the Winter Wing, yes, we're standing right in front of the body. But the body and the cloth were both recovered from the fountain. Why were the found there at the body was supposed to be in the Winter Wing disguised as the sculpture? Objection! Because there would have been no mystery as to how the body had been hidden if we had found it as is. Miss Brown needed to remove Mr. Frost from the Winter Wing in order to throw off the scent. Ridiculous. I don't recall her sneaking around behind our backs to throw a body in the fountain. No, and she didn't need to, because she had another method at her disposal. Her trusty lift cart, the same cart that had proven so useful in executing her original theft. I believe she wheeled the body into one of the other wings, and floated it down the stream to the fountain. The frozen body, being quite solid, probably got stuck somewhere along the way, which is why only the cloth appeared at first. The cloth Miss Scone discovered, and then the body followed afterwards once it had thought enough. Hold it. It's an ingenious theory, Mr. Edgeworth. An ingenious game theory. But can you prove that it was me? It seems a little unfair to expect me to accept your accusations without proof, don't you think? What about an eyewitness? Do you think someone might have spun her when she was moving the body? As a matter of fact, I do. And the contradiction in the piece of evidence was provided will shed light on exactly how Miss Bounds moved the body as well. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any evidence to support your allegation? Of course. I have a piece of very compelling proof right here. Then please present it to the court. What evidence do you have that proves Miss Bounds acted as you claim? More drawings? And really, that's not my best side. Huh? And is that me? Yes, Mr. Butts drew sketches of people as they passed through the fountain room. But what I'm interested in is the cart we can see here. This bound serving cart, what about it? Heh, you don't see it. She's using the same trick she used 18 years ago. Ergo, we know that Miss Bound was busy moving Mr. Frost's body when this picture was being drawn. What? Hold it. If I may, I don't see Mr. Frost's body anywhere in that sketch. All I see is a picture of me delivering chocolates to everybody. Really? Then allow me to direct your attention to the color of the tablecloth, Miss Bound. I'd originally thought that Mr. Butts had made an error, but he assured me that that couldn't possibly be the case. This tablecloth appears to be light blue. Yes, a shade of tablecloth that Miss Bound doesn't seem to own. The cloth only appears to be light blue due to the body hiding just underneath. What? But the shape of the cart is perfectly rectangular, just as one would expect. Surely it would be immediately obvious if the tablecloth was being draped directly over the body? Objection! Not if the body had been placed inside one of the hollow zodiac blocks in the winter wing. Place one of those on the lift cart, and it'd easily pass muster as a regular serving cart, wouldn't you agree? Goddess of Justice! Miss Bound, surely now you must admit that it was you who moved the body just as you did 18 years ago? I didn't expect you to deduce all that from a single simple sketch. But that sketch alone isn't really enough to prove your theory, is it? You need worry on that front. My case doesn't rest solely on Mr. Butts' artwork. Once you had disposed of the body, your serving cart became a simple lift cart once more. Which is exactly what we discovered here in the fountain room. And without a serving cart, you had to find some place to put your chocolates. My chocolates? The ones I was handling out? As we saw in the sketch, you had originally placed them on top of the carts. But the chocolates you gave us came from your pockets. Oh yeah, mine was half melted. It was still super sweet and tasty though. Why did you suddenly feel the need to put the chocolates in your pocket, Miss Bound? It was because you no longer had a serving cart to put them on. That's why. One moment, please. You haven't explained what Miss Bound did with the chocolates and the lift carts. But what about the tablecloth? Where did it go? Indeed, if Stashing the chocolates in her pocket was the only solution she could think of. I doubt Miss Bound had the time to dispose of an entire tablecloth. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you have an answer for me? Miss Bound didn't hide or dispose of the tablecloth, Your Honor. In fact, it's right here in front of us. Perhaps you would care to enlighten us? Wait a minute. Are we really suggesting this? Miss Brown has a tablecloth on her person, and in plain view, in fact. In plain view. No, surely you don't mean. Miss Bound. It's the cloth around your waist, isn't it? And given that the Zodiac blocks were kept in glass cases, that cloth would have been in direct contact with the ice. All we would need to do to confirm my theory is test the cloth for traces of the sugar used in Mr. Frost's work. The game is up, Miss Bound. And not afoot. It's time to come clean. You won't need to test the tablecloth. Everything you said is true. I stole Delicious and Pesticide Ultra, and I moved Mr. Frost's body. It was me. It was all me. Aww. Delicious, I'm so sorry. Last week I went into your bag and I took it. And then, I put it in his pocket, hoping to make it look like he had tried to do himself in. I also made sure to leave no fingerprints but yours, just in case the police suspected foul play. Judy! Yeah, oh gosh! But Judes, why? Weren't we supposed to be on the same side? All fighting together to free Samson? We were, but I couldn't afford to get arrested. Not yet. Not until I finally proven that Samson is innocent. I always planned to give myself in the end, I swear. I know it's easy to say that now, but... Why do this way, though? It's not like you. I'm sorry, Mr. Fender. I caused you so much trouble. I've been the guilty party all along, ever since that day 18 years ago. Are you trying to tell us that the true culprit in the I-7 incident was you? I committed a terrible crime. I took the sculptures and I stole them for purely selfish reasons. The moment Mr. Frost died, they became more than mere entries in a confectionery contest. They became the final words of Samson's favorite artist. I couldn't allow them to just melt away, not before he came home. And that meant I couldn't let anybody near them, not even the police. So I hid them. I knew it was wrong, but I just had to. I put them in the cold storage room for safekeeping. But what I had actually done was far worse than anything I could have possibly imagined. Because who would have thought that Mr. Frost's body itself was posing as one of the sculptures? So, she didn't know about the body when she stole the sculptures? Samson is a kind man, a saint. He could never kill anybody. Ever. Never. And yet, because of what I did, the police never found Mr. Frost's body, and Samson was found guilty. After all you'd done for me, it was my family, the only family I had ever had. It was the most important person in the entire world to me, and Jude's. After his conviction, I was forced out of our home. I was finally able to return only a few days ago, and when I did, I went to the cold storage room to check up on the sculptures, and that's when I saw it. Mr. Frost's body. It had been there the whole time. Of course, by that point, the statutes of limitations had expired. So I did what I did today. Because it was the only way I could think of to make things right. It seems I've misunderstood her intentions. Everything she's done really has all been for Mr. Tangaroa's sake. Hey, what are you thinking about, Mr. Edgeworth? Something that's been puzzling me. Why did Miss Bound use poison gas? Why not a more reliable method? And why disguise the autumn wing as a winter wing? The only reason I can think of is to confuse someone who was here 18 years ago. Yeah, I wonder what she had in mind. She was trying to prove that Mr. Tangaroa is innocent. Miss Bound's ultimate goal must be to... Could she have been trying to discover the identity of the true culprit? Miss Bound, your ultimate aim was to see Mr. Tangaroa clear of all charges, correct? And to that end, you had to expose the real killer and have the police find the body from 18 years ago. Is my understanding of your intentions correct? Exhibiting the sculptures was to force the killer to return to the crime scene. After all, they were the only person apart from you who knew that the body was hidden in the icework. So they would have freaked out thinking the body was about to be discovered and come running, yeah? Exactly. When Miss Bound ran the risk of that the killer might successfully cover their tracks this time. In the worst case scenario, they might even have been able to remove Mr. Frost's body from the scene. So how could she lure the true killer into revealing themselves without putting vital evidence at risk? Oh, I see what you're getting at. You're saying that's why the item wing was all winter wingy. I am. You were betting on one thing, Miss Bound, weren't you? That whoever opened the Pisces case you had so carefully disguised as the Gemini case would be the real perpetrator of the IS-7 incident. No. But that would mean the real killer was overruled. Enough. Not another word. Do you realize the implications of what you're saying, Mr. Edgeworth? Are you prepared to stand behind the accusation you were clearly about to make? Miss Bound set a trap for Mr. Frost's killer, meaning that whoever found themselves caught in that trap is highly likely to be the guilty party. But I'd like the evidence to support such an assertion. To accuse somebody without any evidence is not to be done lightly, so should I really go ahead and make my accusation and name Mr. Frost's killer nonetheless? Oh, screw it. My ultimate goal is to see the truth exposed. And to do that, I need to seize the moment. Yes, Sir Scavel. I'm prepared to stand behind my accusation. No, exactly. Mr. Gusto, the victim of the poison gas attack, is the perpetrator behind the IS-7 incident? Gusti? Mr. Gusto. Miss Bound, as we have established, you knew that the opening of the gallery would lure in the real culprit, and you set up the poison gas trap in order to catch them. Do you dispute the facts thus far? You're a very impressive man, Mr. Edgeworth, just like your father. And of course, you're absolutely right. Then perhaps you could tell us exactly what happened in your own words? Of course, I have nothing else to hide anymore, so I might as well tell you everything. As you said, I set a trap here in the gallery to try and catch Mr. Frost's killer. Before we opened, I made sure that the door to the autumn wing was the only one that was unlocked. When opening time came, I went around to unlock the doors of the various rooms. I found that the autumn wing had been locked from the inside. The killer is on the other side of the door. The thoughts, well, it frightened me. Then she simply walked away, leaving him to fall victim to her poison gas trap. When I heard that Mr. Kuso was being treated for gas inhalation, that's when I knew he was the murderer. All that was left for the police to find Mr. Frost's body, and then Samson would finally be proven innocent. At least, that was my plan. Jutes, why didn't you tell me? You know I'm always here for you, right? We could have found another way. It didn't have to be like this. Thank you, Mr. Fender. You've been so very kind to me all these years. But I'm the one who created this mess, so it's up to me to try and clean it up. I didn't care what it took, as long as I could get Samson out of that awful place. Judy. 18 years ago, the police managed to cover up the fact that Mr. Frost's body had gone missing. If I went to them now and said it had appeared, I was afraid they might have tried to cover things up again. So I worked to set off a very public incident here in the gallery, in front of many witnesses as possible. I'm so very sorry, Judy. You, Samson, Gregory, I let you all down. And Miles too. Fender, this can't be easy for him. No, I'm the one who should be apologizing. Mr. Edgeworth, Mr. Fender, I hope one day you can forgive me. And whatever punishment I have to face, I'm ready to accept it. But please, if I may ask one thing of you, is that you simply must clear Samson's name. The way the truth of these past 18 years had come to light was unexpected, to say the least. And yet, it has only set us down a path towards an even more shocking end. To be continued. Aw, such music. But I'll be right back. I need to check on something. Never mind. I can't do it anymore, so... Okay, so this has been Dry Oasis. I've been your host. And as always, you can catch me up on Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, Discord, or Blue Sky Isle under Dry Oasis. And I really want to get to the end of this case eventually. I really do. Tomorrow might be the last day for me to do so. I really wanted to do more, but oh well. Look at all these people in this case. So let's see here. I hope that you've all had a great day so far, and if not, I hope the rest of your day is better or tomorrow is better for you. So, see you later and take care. Bye-bye. And now to end the